Today I'm in the north of France, traveling around on my filthy little thing, my Vespa. Now we're actually in Mont Saint-Michel. This is a place that's been on my bucket list for several years to come and see. I've given myself a couple of days to be here to try and get some photos. And today we're going to be having a look at landscape photography, as well as some more street style photography once we actually get inside the venue. Now it can be a little bit difficult to try and photograph this building from a distance. There's only a few vantage points and the rest of it is filled up with farms or car parks, etc. that you have to pay to get into. I've gone for a bit of a scout around this morning on the Vespa to try and see where some of those spots might be. There's some opportunities here for some basic photos of the building, but the problem is it doesn't really give any context to the water that surrounds it. So we're going to head over shortly to a bridge, and hopefully if that sun comes up just a little bit more, we'll get some reflections on the water. But for now, this isn't a bad spot. So we've got the sun just starting to break through here, and hopefully that will then light this field up a bit, this wheat field that I'm in, and also cast a little bit of light on the castle. I've only really got a couple of locations to choose from when doing these sort of early morning shots or afternoon shots because the sun moves and the shot's lost. So what I'm seeing in this composition is I've got like the poppy fields coming up through the wheat, which is growing, and then with the castle in the background. So it's kind of cool, but if we get some nice light and some dramatic skies, it could turn out to be a really nice photo. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a bracketed photo, underexposed, exposed, and then overexposed, and then I'll merge those two together. And that'll just allow me to draw out some of the detail in the sky, in the foreground and on the castle, and just have a bit more flexibility when it comes to editing the images. So I'm now actually in Mont Saint-Michel, and perhaps this isn't street photography, this is going to be more how do you photograph in a busy tourist area. Certainly an amazing building and there's plenty of people walking through it. And so what I'm going to be having a look at in this little section is how to try and take photos in areas that are busy and touristy. And there's not a huge amount of creativity that you can bring when shooting in an area like this because it's all been shot 1,000 times before and everyone's walking around. But nonetheless, when you're on holidays, it's always nice to take photos, take meaningful photos and something a little bit different. So that's what I'm going to try and do in this next little section. So in a situation like this, where I only brought the one lens with me, the 24-70, but I want to get a wide angle shot here in this little courtyard looking up at the building, what I've done is I've just swapped to the iPhone and swapped to the RAW shooting mode, so it then shoots a photo at 48 megapixels and in RAW, so it'll give you plenty of flexibility to do some detailed editing back in Lightroom. Of course, don't be afraid to get experimental. Like coming here, I want a lot of exposure. I can get some people moving through it, so you get that motion blur happening in the shot. I've got the ND filter fully cranked up. I've got a long exposure setting, and then this is allowing me to get people moving in a blurred motion through the photo. Shooting in touristy places like this is never easy. There's people everywhere. Everyone's always clambering for the same shot. So sometimes it's good just to explore the area yourself and just look for things that other people aren't looking at. Like some of the shadows in these archways here. There's a nice detail there. "9:15 in the evening, the sun is slowly setting. I'm just getting some shots of Mont Saint-Michel, and this is kind of an interesting perspective here because you've got the fields in the foreground and of course the castle in the background, but what's really interesting is the dappled light that is running across this field. It's just making for a really interesting texture to try and shoot. It's not the best photo, but it's just a different perspective. And what I'm doing here is I'm framing the majority of the photo is this field, and then the castle's just at the very top. It's just a slightly different perspective to how you might normally see the castle represented, which has the water around it, as you'd expect. Probably one of the best things about having a Vespa for doing photography like this is that you can just pull over if you see an area that really lines up with what you're looking for and take the photo. Just pull over on the side of the road, easily do U-turns. There's no complexity. You just pull the throttle and go, and that's why they're so much fun, but also so good for just banging around, taking photos,
pulling up where you please.